The Epstein files are closer than ever to being forced into the public eye, but there is still a long road ahead. On Tuesday, the House passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act with a near unanimous vote, 427 to 1. And that lone no came from Representative Clay Higgins. His concern was that releasing the files could expose innocent people, witnesses, family members, and weaken traditional criminal justice protections. Now, that same night, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer asked for unanimous consent to approve the Epstein Files Transparency Act immediately once it reaches the Senate. And it had no objections, so this means the Senate will pass it without any changes. And after that, the bill heads straight to President Trump. So what does this law actually do if it is signed? Well, it would require the Justice Department, FBI, and prosecutors to release all unclassified records about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But there are still protections in place here. Anything that could identify victims, compromise ongoing investigations, or affect national security can be redacted. But political sensitivity, reputational harm, or embarrassment, they're not valid reasons to withhold documents per the bill. And once the bill becomes law, the DOJ has 30 days to release the documents. Epstein survivors have been pushing hard for this moment. On the morning of the vote, Representatives Thomas Massie, Ro Khanna, and Marjorie Taylor Greene appeared on Capitol Hill with survivors and their families. Many expressed gratitude, but also skepticism, worrying about redactions and whether the files will tell the whole story. Greene pointed out that around 1,000 women have claimed they were victimized by Epstein and criticized the last 5 presidential administrations for covering up these files. If fully implemented, this law could dramatically increase public transparency about Epstein's network, his connections, his travels, and how the investigations were handled. But remember, the law only covers unclassified records, so some sensitive information may remain hidden. It's also politically loaded. Epstein's case touches powerful people, and the release could reignite scrutiny. Survivors see it as a moral win, but they stress this isn't about politics, it's about justice. Massie and Khanna have been fighting to release the files, even using a discharge petition that allowed the House to force a vote without waiting on leadership or committee approval. Representative Adelita Grijalva became the 218th signature that pushed that vote forward despite delays in her swearing in because the government was shut down. Now, could ongoing DOJ investigations slow things down? Trump has called for investigations into Epstein's relationships with several figures, including former Secretary of the Treasury Larry Summers, former President Bill Clinton, Democratic mega donor Reid Hoffman, and certain financial institutions. Last week, the House Oversight Committee released about 20,000 pages from Epstein's estate, and among them were emails showing Summers sought Epstein's advice on pursuing a woman he called his mentee. In response, Summers announced he's stepping back from public roles, including leaving the OpenAI board, resigning from a fellowship at the Center for American Progress, and ending his advisory role with Yale's Budget Lab. Harvard, where he currently teaches, is opening a formal investigation into his ties with Epstein. Now, some Democrats, Representative Greene, and survivors groups worry that investigations could be used to stall or redact files, protecting political, academic, or financial figures until the furor dies down. Now, after voting, Trump wrote on Truth Social that he doesn't want Republicans to lose sight of the victories they've had, from border security to tax cuts and so on. The House vote is a big step, but it's not the finish line. The files could still be partially redacted, delayed, or limited due to ongoing investigations. We'll keep you updated as all of this continues to unfold, so be sure to keep up with our social channels, The National Desk.